Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30-plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today for February 20th, 2026, run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, etc., etc. Some more crazy industry news dropped, and it further goes down this path we've been seeing, and nothing seems to change, right? Well, Sony has closed down Blue Point Games, and we'll get to that here shortly. It's actually pretty incredible. I do feel like Sony is in its final stages of PlayStation. I know that doesn't seem like it's possible, but I mean, we'll get to that. But yeah, I guess what we'll do is we'll start with what I've been playing, and that'll transition to some awesome news that dropped yesterday. I took full advantage of. So we'll get to that here. Ultronymous, good morning. Good to see you. Okay, what have I been playing? Well, I didn't play much except a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles X yesterday because they came out with a Switch 2 edition upgrade, which is awesome. I really do think that should have came out alongside the Switch 2 release of the Switch 2 in general, because Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition came out last year, right before the Switch 2 dropped. So that's always interesting, and it could have been just a matter of resources, maybe really seeing how the game does before they do all that, but the code already had like the 60 FPS stuff. Anyway, it looks fantastic. So 4K 60, docked, so on my big screen, 4K 60 looks great. But on handheld, it's 120 frames per second, and it looks amazing. And yeah, I've been able to play, games at high frame rates on my computer monitor. My TV, sadly, only does 60, because not many console games really take advantage of it. But PC games does take advantage of high frame rates, so I do have 144 hertz display, and it looks great. When you can really nail it, not every game, just because it can, it really nails it. So seeing it on a handheld, a console handheld, looks great. It does. I mean, the ROG Ally, but I'm used to playing PC games, so for me that's the same. But like on the Switch 2, a game like Xenoblade Chronicles X looks fantastic. While I beat the main story, there's still a lot more for me to do. You can see I've got 68 hours into it. So I think my plan is, now that this update is out and there's not a Chronicles, there's not a Chronicles 2 Switch 2 update, which is what I really wanted. I might just go back to Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition, and just, finish up what I can. Jumping into the mech yesterday, so much fun. Yeah, I might do some of that this weekend. And I think that's it. I was not really playing anything else. Was I? No, I wasn't. All right, let's jump into some news. First, to kind of cover that Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition update. Yeah, now playable with up to 4K resolution at a smooth frame rate of up to 60 FPS when playing in TV mode. And that's kind of good to understand. Up to. There are times where it's not a consistent 60, but it's insane looking, so it's okay. And then, let's see, on handheld mode, it's 1080p and up to 60 FPS. No, I think that's wrong. They got that wrong. It's 120. Let's see. This is mynintendonews.com. No one seems to be saying anything in there. Okay, that's interesting. Anyway, again, $4.99, and so that's what's interesting. Is it worth $5 for something like this? I don't know, but I'm willing to pay $4.99 for that upgrade. But part of me thinks, that shouldn't be the case. I'm just used to, again, this kind of goes to the more consumer friendlier of all the publishers, in my opinion, and that's Xbox. You just pop in an old disc and it automatically upgrades frame rate and resolution. Now, there are some games where they then specifically go in and have to redo assets. Sometimes that's an update, or sometimes that might be something you have to pay for. I'm trying to think with Xbox games normally, yeah, it's since I've been in all those ecosystems pretty regularly. Yeah, with Xbox, it's always historically been I'm just carrying over my library. At first we had to wait for some games to be backwards compatible from Xbox to 360, and then from 360 to One. But then they dropped that update where, yeah, they made it's like 90%, I think. And see, that's substantial. When with Nintendo, like the Kirby, the Forgotten Lands had a $20 upgrade. It's like, yeah, it had bonus stuff, but like without buying the bonus stuff, the game looked horrible on the Switch 2, the Kirby and Forgotten Lands. Like it just like there's nothing built in to like auto scale, so then just things look muddy and blurry, which again, I guess if you go back to what we were talking about with Xbox, you would play an older game and it would up-res, do whatever it needed to do. Nintendo Switch, not too much. Even though, like for Mario Odyssey, they on launch on Switch 2, it had a 4K 60 upgrade. So it's just they do it differently. But $5 is not a big deal. Okay. Let's jump into some other news. Double Dragon Gaiden: Rise of the Dragons. This was like my game of the year when it came out. They have new characters: Bimmy Lee, Jackson, Jim Mackey, and Armored Okada, which is cool because they just earlier this or last year actually they came out with some new characters. I haven't really had too much time with them, but they play really awesome. But this is really cool now that they have even more. I mean, it's another reason for me to jump in, even though I felt like I have 19 hours on Steam, maybe half that on Xbox. Fun game. I mean, I think it's interesting because the graphics are in the design category of the old Double Dragon games, but it's kind of changed like how these beat 'em ups look, even that latest Double Dragon that came out. At the same time, I don't know how much the look of it turns people off. I know I don't necessarily like it when it's too cutesy just for the sake of it, instead of, hey, let's kind of do more with the pixels like they did with what is, I would almost say like Streets of Rage 4, even though that's a little different because of how the artwork is. But, there's chunkier pixels that are, a little more interesting. But I guess it doesn't matter because even with the way it played tight. The mechanics were super tight. One of my favorite games. New characters are always awesome. I don't know if they even have, I wonder if they, no, this is, I think, from before. Oh, what's this? Kawaii Death Desu. Is this a beat 'em up? Because it kind of looks the same. I don't know. Okay, let's move on from that. Next, 5 new games added to Retro Classics on Xbox Game Pass. So this is something you remember. I just like recently realized that they do this, and another cool thing Xbox does, which Nintendo and Sony do also. But Microsoft has a huge library now to go through. But this is basically just some more retro classics that they've announced, and this is yeah. I remember I did a stream before, and I was showing this box art and being like, "This looks so basic, but this is really Microsoft's like classics answer." And I really need to jump into that stuff more. Stampede, Kebab. I mean, these are old Atari stuff. Return to Zork from DOS in '93. Never played that, but oh boy, had I heard of it. That was a big deal. And that was interesting because it's not a little for some reason. I was like really deep into PC gaming in the '90s when no one else was. And maybe other people. And people I knew. I could talk to people at school about console games, and even then, it wasn't too much. But PC gaming, that was like me on my own figuring things out. interesting time. I was playing anything, point and click, all that stuff. Um, okay. So this is the big one. So Sony has shut down Blue Point Games, which they're responsible for a whole lot, including the Demon Souls remake that launched with the PS5, which is absolutely incredible. And I hadn't beaten it because by that point I had just souls myself out. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I really want to get back and finish it. I really like it. I really like the way it looks. It still looks incredible. Still one of the best looking games. But this is just another example of the non-gaming executive people at Sony don't really know what they're doing. And, I used to think when I would say stuff like that, it's like, what do I know? Who am I? What experience do I have in life to know what I am talking about? And I guess professionally, some of the stuff I do, it really involves a lot of risk aversion, and it has to, I really have to think critically about this stuff. So a lot of times I'm just thinking critically when I'm talking industry stuff. Now, you can also look at Concord, the fact that Sony made Concord and the day they released it, they canceled it because it just wasn't what anyone wanted. And I knew that amongst others. And again, I'm not saying it's just me, but it's pretty obvious the people running PlayStation at Sony are way too inside that exec sphere to understand what the gaming industry needs in order for them to continue to thrive. Because closing a company like Bluepoint that you had tried to make a live service game, that's so many levels of failure. Concord, that, and then that hunter gathering, like, look, hopefully for people's livelihoods, that Hunter's Gathering game does good, but it's the exact same thing. Like, there's no reason to care other than Sony's making that game to keep Fortnite players on a platform. I know people are like, well, it doesn't really look like Fortnite. Sure, if you were to like look at the graphics specifically and say, well, technically the abstraction of the lines, no. It has that less realistic cartoon sort of Disneyfied look that is a mainstream look. They're doing that on purpose because it looks like Fortnite, and Fortnite is PlayStation's biggest game. So think about that. PlayStation's biggest game, the thing that makes them the most money, is Fortnite. So if games Bluepoint makes doesn't make them as much as Fortnite, they're not going to care. So it's just unfortunate that they're making these. So, but why would they make decisions that seem so dumb? Well, it's because since PlayStation is under Sony, a huge worldwide corporation, at the end of the day, they really don't need the gaming division if it's not making them money. And this might sound crazy to people, but I can see Sony getting out of gaming before Microsoft. Microsoft has always been a services company from the beginning. You would get your operating system just on any box that it could be ported to. Microsoft themselves wasn't selling the boxes. They were just, in the 80s, it was like, hey, we have this operating system that could work, so now you're in our system. And then since then, it's been software as a service. As we morphed into the cloud, it's being services pushed to you. And if you think about it, going back from Microsoft first coming into the video game space, they have always revolutionized. They included the hard drive and the modem in the Xbox. They created the online service, which it is unfortunate that you got to pay for it, but I also think, and rumor has it that they're going to remove that as part of their next stage, where you're not paying to play online, you're just paying for a category of games, a catalog of games, but you could still jump on an Xbox Play Anywhere device and play, for instance, Fortnite online, as long as you're in their ecosystem. So, Sony then letting Bluepoint go means it's just that they're a very technically sound developer. They are a developer where you could be like, hey, do this, do that. Yeah, maybe live service is not the thing, but this article shows how they did the impossible port of Titanfall for the Xbox 360, which this comes full circle because we do know that Highguard was made by ex-Titanfall and Apex Legends developers, and that thing failed. And so we see Bluepoint, who worked on, and it failed. And, you know, R.I.P. Vince Zampella, he died. And it's just a sad culmination of things that's really just showing that whatever these big companies are just trying to do day to day and push is just not working. And Microsoft realizes it, and yes, they're doing things that people look at them like, Microsoft? Well, what, you know, Xbox? What? No, they're like, look, guys, we see they've been like this the whole time. Microsoft has always been able to be like, well, and I think it's because how they position themselves, being software on anything. They've almost had a responsibility, and I work in the security space, and so it's like they have a responsibility to make sure that they have top-of-the-line security within their enterprise products, and outside that too. And I guess what I'm trying to say is they know when, like, even if they are a greedy corporation that needs all their money, whatever, they at least know the direction things need to go into. And then I think they do their best with that. I don't know. It's a very interesting situation because if we're getting to the point now where Sony's just shuttering Bluepoint, I don't know where we are. Let's not mention Ubisoft had some layoffs also. All right, jumping it back into some. It was this. Oh yeah, because another thing they did was the Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus remaster. Highly regarded game. But what I wanted to show off here, let's get into some more happier news maybe. I mean, it's not a big deal. Does it work like that? Why does it do that? Anyway, it's just someone showing them, like, experiencing Xenoblade Chronicles X with the new graphics. I know it's really hard to get a sense because this is, like, taking up, like, a percentage of the screen. But it's incredible. I feel like if anyone that is watching this has never played Xenoblade Chronicles X, and you have a chance to play it on the Switch too, you should do it. 100%. Okay. What are we going to do next? There's a game I want to try, and I don't know if I'll like it. It just looked cool. This game is called Monomyth. Let me load this up. Ultronymous, I can't really see any improvements from this distance personally. Yeah, I think it's as small as that little window was. You really have to be in the game to see it. And it was interesting because I was thinking, well, I'm going to want to do a playthrough or like go back to each biome live and do everything I need to do. But I don't know if I'm going to get the benefits if I use it through the capture card. So I might have to figure out what I do for that. Anyway. Okay, maybe no controller. We'll see. So this is Monomyth. I was watching a retrospective on Kingsfield on YouTube, and that's like the original basis of Souls from Software. Okay, hold up. Let me check something. Oh, there's gamepad. Okay. But I am not seeing the invert. Yeah, you guys know me. You know me. Unless that's not needed, it's not like that type of game. All right, let's just jump in and see. Oh, okay. Choose your character's attributes. Four attribute points, and I have 8 skill points. I'm just gonna put it all in strength. I don't really know what I need to do right now. And then here, let's see. I'll do Athletics, swords and axes. Search? Seems pretty good. I don't really care for magic right now, so I think I'm gonna just double down on this stuff. Okay. And I'm not gonna, again, this is a demo. I don't know how fancy. Oh, you could do a custom portrait. That's pretty cool. Yo, man, so this is like pretty much D&D, right? You know, every game nowadays is now D&D.
And civilization
I feel like it is
under great storms ravaging the world.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. So some of the oldest Japanese RPGs were based on
your father.
There was a specific developer in the 80s that was making some Japanese RPGs that were influenced by these sort of Western style RPGs. Okay, so I still don't think there's an invert. Let's look again. Invert, there we go. But my controller is not working. Even though, yeah. Okay. Let's head back. Oh, there we go. Controller is working now. Okay. I have no idea what to expect here. Shrines allow you to level up your character. Okay, I should have read that earlier, but that's neat. And then close. Okay. There's a switch here. Or a lever. It's a switch still. Open your inventory. Okay. Well. Okay. We found a map and some arrows. Oh, and a bow. Pretty cool. You can repair your metallic equipment by heating it up in a furnace and swinging a hammer at it on an anvil. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Locked. I can't even see. It's like so dark. Okay. Wooden doors can be broken down. Press. Well. Okay, how do I cancel? You can't. Okay. But can I pick up the arrow? Yeah. Okay, so I was probably supposed to find a sword somewhere. Let's go look around here. Oh, right there. So, if I took... No, that's the arrow. Loadout. Oh, I have a couple things in here. Short sword. And then rusty sword. Then do I just drop it here? Okay. And then... Oh, that's to lean. That's neat. Okay, to switch weapons, though. Let's look that up. Options. Gamepad. Oh, wait, it's right here. Okay, weird scrolling thing here. Okay. So, okay. Activate, use like a quick shot. Jump, defend, lean, sprint, crouch, inventory. Switch weapon. Okay. Let's get out of here. Cool. I feel better. Oh, skeleton. Oh, hell yeah. Wait, to spy through a keyhole, interact with it while crouching. Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, skeleton we'll talk later, but... Okay, so if I crouch... Ah! That's cool. What if I do this? Okay. I don't know if anyone's gonna hear me. Alright. Nope. Maybe it needs to be damaged for me to repair it. Did I try that? That's locked. Okay. Put this. Nope. Okay. Let's go fight that skeleton. Try the keyhole first. Nope. Okay. All right. Wait, what? Oh, that was cool. Won't let me look down? I can't, like, look down to attack. I don't... Remains. None. Okay. Well, that's cool. I like that combat. Pretty basic and simple so far. Bandages. Okay. Super dark. Wait. Is there a light switch in here? Okay. Like, I want to see what's in front of me, but I really can't. Okay. So we're on that other side. What? Okay. No? Oh, switch. There we go. Gotta look for levers and switches. Okay. What's on the ground here? Are there rocks? Interesting. Okay. So I guess there's probably like a puzzle that I have to do to get out of here. Huh. I don't know what I should do, but there's got to be something around here. Yeah, I feel like maybe I pick up a skull and put in there. Let's see. I don't seem to have the ability to pick them up unless it's a certain one. Oh, what in the world? Okay, this isn't gonna be good. Like, I can't move? So I'm stuck in place, but I killed him. Okay, that was neat. Wasn't expecting that. Okay. Wow. So did maybe a door open somewhere? Or there's another place I can go? Let's check it out. Yeah, I just wish I could see better. I mean, I guess I could turn up the lighting. I just don't like to do that because I feel like the game is intended to be this dark. Seems like there's something there. Oh. Okay, that... What? Oh, did I open a door? I'm gonna go backwards because I can't see. Oh. All right. I really haven't... Am I just walking to the beginning? No, this is some different stuff here. Oh! Oh. I think you're cool, huh? Alright. Okay, I'm gonna try something else real quick too, right? Because I've got bandages. I remember picking that up. Oh yeah, down there at the bottom. Hold up, let me get out of this. I wonder what I pressed it. Did that work? Okay, it's the B button. And I know it tells me, doesn't it? In the menus. Okay, good there. All right, it is 8:32. I do have to jump, but oh, a nice little cozy space. This is very intriguing, and I do like the movement, the combat. Am I able to just save my game? Yeah, I am. Could I play this more? Do I need to, like, just hit save? Okay, there we go, confirm. I might play this some more. This is really cool. Unstuck character, that's a good one. Okay. All right, all. I am heading out. Again, that was Monomyth. That's just a demo. The game's not out yet. That'd be cool to check out. Anyway, I'm going to head out. Hope you guys have a good weekend, a good rest of your Friday. I'll be back Monday with some more. So until then, have a good one. See y'all.